Hi guys, and thank you for tuning in. It's my first answer video for any questions that come from fans, other authors, etc., etc. My name's Kindra Sowder, and I have some questions from one of my youngest fans to ever write me an email. Her name is Gigi, and we exchanged emails for a while. She is absolutely fantastic and so sweet, and thanks to me, I don't want to take full credit though. It's Miss Gigi. This was all you, darling. She has started a website called firefiction.net. It is specifically for young writers, so if you guys have anything that you would like to share, head on over there. She is fantastic and has such a great vision. So I am going to go ahead and start answering her questions here. She's got 5 questions for me today. Her first one is, what was the publishing process like? Stressful. Stressful. That's really the only word I have for it. I was completely new to the game, and I had been with another publisher before, but I had never started to actually go through the process with them. So when I started Burning Willow Press, I was completely new to it. I'm going to be completely honest, I had no idea what I was doing. But I adapted pretty quick after that first book, so now I am an expert. The steps you go through, first, of course, there's submitting, and then you've got to get accepted. And, of course, I run my own publishing company, so I have the freedom to put my stuff out without having to submit anything. But I try not to take, well, I'm not taking advantage of that fact. And then editing, which is the bane of any author's existence. You all will learn this if you write. If you have a good editor, trust me, they're going to ask you to cut out a lot of crap. Because Miss Georgina, I cut out a lot of words with you. And Tracy Poist was absolutely fantastic. She did Follow the Ashes, and then Georgina did Follow the Screams for me, so Georgina is also going to be doing the 3rd book as well. And then you've got to go through cover art, approving all of the edits that are made, or suggested at least. And then, poof, your book is up once everything's done and ready. The next one is, what age did you start writing? The first story I ever wrote was actually in middle school. I was 12, and we had an assignment because Halloween was coming up. And we had to write a short story, and it was called Mommy Dearest. It's about this girl that was abused by her mother when she was younger, and her mother passed away a couple years before this incident takes place. Sorry, I can't talk today. And there's an old abandoned house in the city where she lives, and her friends have no idea that that was the house that she grew up in, and they convince her to go inside, and one of the best things I've ever written still to this day. I wish I could find it, because then I'd share it with you guys. Her next one is, who or what inspired you to start writing? I wouldn't say it was anything in particular that inspired me to start. It's just, I had a story in my head and I could not stop thinking about it. So I started writing it, and you guys have Follow the Ashes and the whole Executioner Trilogy now. So obviously, it's a good thing for all of us. The next question is, what inspired you to write Follow the Ashes? I'm not going to lie and say Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel didn't have anything to do with it, because they did. But I wanted it to be different. So, since I started writing that when I was 15, it took on a whole life of its own later on. I had first started writing it with a partner, and things kind of went downhill from there. And then I just decided to start writing it by myself, completely revamped it, changed all the titles, squished it down to a trilogy instead of a 5-part series. It was going to be 5 parts, and I just didn't think that the new storyline that I had in mind really warranted 5 parts. So I changed it. I didn't change the fact that it was going to be called The Executioner. That was a no-go. I was not going to be changing that for anything. So I didn't. Last question is, what advice would you have to young authors who write in the same urban fantasy genre as Follow the Ashes? Really, the only advice that I have for any writer at all is, and I gave this at the panel that I was in at MonsterCon just a couple weeks ago with John G. Hartness, who is amazing, by the way. He also writes in the same genre. But it's to read. Read, read, read. And make sure to read within your genre. Now, it is great to be well-rounded, and definitely read things from other genres, absolutely, because every single genre is going to influence even the urban fantasy work. I can say that every single book that I've ever read, especially urban fantasy, but I'll even go as far as to say as a lot of Stephen King stuff, kind of influenced a lot of the horror elements that went into the Executioner Trilogy, and so much more work after that, especially the new Miss Hyde novellas, which Miss Gigi, you're not old enough to read yet. Yeah, that's basically really the only advice that I have. And, well, no, that's a lie. Write every day. And this was advice that John G. Hartness had given someone who asked about writing at the panel, is that he said that you need to write every day. It might be crap, it might be great, but write every day. If you don't write, you're going to lose it. And it doesn't matter how talented you are while you're writing every day. If you decide to take a month off, your writing's going to suffer. So write every day and read a lot. I was a bookworm for most of my teenage and adult life so far. You should see all of the books that I have all over the place. Sorry, Facebook's going crazy. I have books everywhere. I have a bookshelf right next to me filled to the brim with Stephen King. Another bookshelf across the living room from me that is filled with not only Stephen King, but my own books and the books that my company is putting out, like Manly Cheese by James Crawford, Power Rises by R.M. Willis. I mean, every single book that we have put out so far, I have a copy of. And I also have about 5 more boxes of books in our building outside, so that I can attest how much of a bookworm I am. And they're all from different genres. So as long as you can follow that advice right there, your work will only get better and better as you go along. And the more you write, the better your writing will get. I can honestly say that my writing now is a lot better and a lot more focused than when I first started. And I can say that with all honesty. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you, Gigi, for the questions, and I hope these were a big help. I'll be trying to post these as often as I can. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you. Bye.